Well, I mean, I'm a strong believer in free will. I do worry that certain kinds of arguments are cop outs by attributing to these impersonal forces like history and saying that history moves in particular ways and we don't have control over it, that we're almost slaves to a certain kind of historical trajectory, whether it's progress, whether it's regression, whether it's something in between. And this idea that we don't really have agency and that individuals don't make choices. I mean, basically, Demir, as far as I can tell, you're saying that like we're prisoners to world historical forces beyond our control. So that's my major objection, that I simply don't believe that.
Well, are you saying I have actually two questions there, one for you, Shadi, and one for Demir. A clarifying one for Demir first. In this piece, then, are you actually saying that we're prisoners to sort of world historical forces, or simply to just like mistakes that have been made in the past of American politics that were just probably going to come haunt us at some point, and now they're here? Like maybe they didn't all have to show up at the same time in the person of Donald Trump and in this administration, but they're like, think we kicked a ball at one point in American history. It's going to roll back around in one way or another. Or are you ascribing the arrival of Trump in this administration as part of a greater sort of, I don't know, world revolutionary kind of trend in history?
You want me to answer that? I don't think. Obviously, I don't
Yeah.
think there's anything like that. And anyway, look,
Yeah.
let me just answer it that way. Again, this is why the Lincoln rereading the second inaugural is so good, is because it's an incredibly elegant way to I think preserve the right amount of agency and preserve the right amount of humility, because I think what's particularly repellent to me about modernity and the sort of way, um, I think that you can boil down what you said, Shadi, into kind of, I think, a one-dimensional or like a very two-dimensional sort of way. Is like, we are agents, we are agents of control in history, and we are change agents. We have intimate personal responsibility for all this, that, the other, and therefore we must, like, I don't know. It's that kind of like, I don't know, dumb individualism. Now,
Yeah, but Demir, I never talk
I know
about,
you
I
didn't. I
never
didn't.
use the,
I know you didn't say that, but I'm just saying that's the danger of your counter
yeah.
to what I'm getting at. That's all. I didn't mean that you're that. And what's so remarkable about Lincoln's formulation is that he is in the same breath acknowledging the unique evil of slavery, in the same breath as acknowledging the horrific evil of, a war, pitting brother against brother, um, and um, and in no way ultimately saying we in the North are the righteous ones in this, but in fact the entire country is being punished by this war for a collective, sin that we have perpetuated. And so ultimately, it's that passage where he says, we all fervently pray that these horrors will end soon, but our prayers may go on unanswered, because actually the actual scope of justice and how it will play out is not visible to us. So it injects a level of humility to it, which is to say, we don't know basically what the actual plot is, and it would be very presumptuous to assume that we do. Whereas, that level of humility, just, I mean, even in normal folk understandings of the Civil War, that level of complexity and nuance doesn't shine through. Like it, but it's very much there in the second inaugural. It's really impressive. So that's my answer to Christina, I guess, is that no, it's not like some sort of world historical thing, and or I mean, I would just maybe put it differently. It's more like, I'm not sure that it would be akin to blasphemy to declare one way or the other on it, or at least hubris, not blasphemy. It would be hubristic to declare one way or the other, because we have no claim to be able to know of like where all of this is going. And at the same time, though, back to Lincoln and the other part that I think is important, he was not saying, therefore, oh, there's nothing we can do with this. It's like, this is in the midst of the war. The war continues, and we have to continue fighting the war. So it's not like a counsel to helplessness and be like, well, let the good Lord decide. Let fate, let providence just take us where it is. Passivity, and this is where, I think one can productively talk about free will and yet not claim for oneself ultimate sovereignty. I guess that's the thing, and that's something that I've been wrestling with and pushing back and forth for some time now. For the longest time, I've not felt really comfortable with the idea of free will. It doesn't make full sense to me. Yet, obviously, it exists to a certain extent because we order our lives and our inner selves around the concept that we are sovereign. So there's a kind of partial sovereignty to it. Lying in between the experience that each one of us have and then something one might call history or providence or whatever you will, and that's existence, I guess,